Hi, everybody. I am getting ready to go live with Confessions of a Server. He is one of the funniest people I know. But until he hops on, I thought I would get on here and answer some of your questions and answers regarding fasting. Figured a lot more of us are around at home because we're sheltered in place. So figured while I'm not in the hospital, that I would do a few more impromptu Q&As. So if you guys have any questions, make sure to drop them below. If not, then... Okay, sorry. Sneeze. And if not... If you don't have any questions, then I guess that's fine as well. We'll put the Q&A button up. Really not a Q&A, but I had a post up earlier, so we can go through those. Oh, wait. There's Confessions of a Server. Let me see. I need to accept his request. And I just sent you the connection. Hey!
Sorry, hi.
How are you? Hey, guess what I have on?
I know. So this is why I'm a little bit late, because I saw you had yours on, so I went and got mine.
Yay! Too
We're
many
twins.
critics. Not enough
Twins.
Twinsies! So, hey, Qualin, why don't you tell everyone who you are, and tell them about yourself and all that good stuff. This is kind of a lighthearted chat today, so we're not going to talk all doom and gloom, but I may talk a little COVID if people have questions. But go ahead.
Listen, I don't mind you talking COVID at all because, I mean, I'm sure there's people who might hop on that follow my page that might have questions as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, we do whatever we do,
Exactly. But tell people who you are. And then I'll tell people who I am for people who are joining on your page.
So, like, who I am? Like,
my
story?
I don't know, whatever you want to say.
Okay, so peoples, hi, I'm Qualin. I went to college and became best friends with the doc here brother. That's how we met. I don't even know how me and Chris met, but through college we built up a great friendship. He's my best friend now, and you and we met after run the tennis matches. You would come watch his tennis matches. Yeah.
I was a good supportive sister.
You were. You went to more tennis matches than my sisters came to my baseball games. So, so you did well. And then through college, your friendship is built and kind of makes Chris jealous a little bit because I guess he doesn't want you to be friends with his friends, but hey, whatever, it's okay. So I graduated college. I got into serving in restaurants. I always wanted to do some kind of restaurant-based content. I used to want to write a TV show because that's what I got my bachelor's in. My bachelor's in communication with a focus in broadcasting. So I always wanted to do like some kind of TV show or something going along with that. Tried my hand at that, failed. Then I figured, why don't I do stuff on social media? So then that's when I kind of started Confessions of a Server and built it up to what it is now.
Well, and you know what? You have a lot of great ideas and great content. I mean, don't rule out the TV stuff. Issa Rae just made her own. Remember Awkward Black Girl? Did you ever watch that on YouTube?
I watched a little bit of it.
Oh, it was funny. It was hilarious. And just with her little YouTube stuff, that's how she blew up. So now that you're getting a following, you should write stuff again.
I still think the idea I had for a TV show would be one of the best TV shows on air right now, just because the content and how I wrote everything. But it's just so hard to break into TV because, they always say that there's like those gatekeepers, the people who give people opportunities. And for someone like me in Ohio to even get in contact with these people in LA and stuff like that, yeah, it's a little bit easier now with social media and technology and stuff like that, but it's still hard because I don't know anyone. I would just be going out there blind trying to meet people. But you know, if that opportunity presented itself, I would definitely take it on and try my hardest, because I in a non-cocky way, I know that I can produce content that is going to resonate with people and entertain people. And I would definitely love to try to write a TV show and be successful with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, you never know. And the nice thing is social media does give people a little more access. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure it's still very difficult, but at least it gives, I think, a little more, I don't know, access than before.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. And I mean, you have so many people who have started on social media and have blown up now. Look at, what's the gentleman who's on Ellen all the time? Qualin? Is that his name? The guy who always talks about the recipes. Well, his videos went viral because he would make fun of like what people would be making, and he'd be laying in his bed like, "Ew, what you doing?" You ever see that guy?
I haven't, but
okay.
To check him out.
Well, yeah. So I mean, him, like, he's on Ellen now, but he would make fun of, like, he would just find recipes and just talk about like different things, like why. Oh my gosh, they're putting hot dogs in what was it? It was hot dogs in Jello. And he would just like make fun of that. So it differently like that, and it just caught the eye of Ellen. Now he's like Ellen has given him his own platform on her website and stuff like that. Huh. You know, so I mean, and then there's the guy that did like the basketball impersonations. He was getting like, at one point he was getting $3 million from Puma for like a shoe deal and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, so there's different things that could happen. Just like I said, if I ever got presented with an opportunity, I would take it on head first and go full speed ahead, because I would love to do something like that. Love to write for a TV show.
No, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Well, yay, everybody. This is Confessions of a Server. And then for people on your page, Qualin, my name is Cecily. I am on Instagram as the Fasting Doctor. Qualin kind of already went through how we know each other. And so what I do is I'm a high-risk obstetrician. That's my main specialty, but I also do obesity medicine. And the approach I use is intermittent fasting, hence the name, the Fasting Doctor. So on my page, it's pretty much all things fasting. Every once in a while, I'll throw in a different topic, but stuff surrounding health, wellness, with fasting as kind of the centerpiece to achieve health and wellness. So not as interesting as Qualin, but that's my shtick.
No, but your information saves lives. Mine just makes people laugh sometimes.
Hey, laughter is one of the forms of medicine, though. So that is true. Especially in times like these, we need to keep our spirits up. So I guess we can let everyone know that we kind of started around the same time as well, and would bounce ideas off of each other and help each other grow and things like that. And you actually, when I started, you had a lot more followers than me, and I've never told anyone this. I told Chris this once, but my goal when I first started. Is that my connection? Can you hear me? Or is that yours? It cut off, or at least, I don't know. You froze for a second. I don't know if I froze. But I'm guessing you're going to say that your goal is to have more followers than me. I bet that's what you're going to say.
When I first started, that was my goal. So I picked out people that I wanted to like surpass, and not say like I was going to do anything bad, but I'm like, okay, I see Cecily has this many. So I need to try. That was the goal that I was working for. Like, I want to pass her, and then I passed you, and then there was someone else. and there was someone else. I'm like, all right, now I gotta pass this person. And now I have like that's kind of been my goal for this thing. Not so much to like be better, but it just gave me something to work for, you know?
Right.
So but
well,
you
now
were
I'm
my
trying to, now I'm trying to catch up with you, but you've lapped me. So I'm like, I don't know.
But you were my first goal to pass. So
Thank you. I'm
but
honored.
at the same time, I was giving you great ideas for your page as well, for you to grow too. So
Yeah. Oh no, it's been all love. It's been all love, and your tips have definitely helped. And I think it's with social media, it can definitely be. I don't want to say stressful, but it can be time consuming. Do you know what I mean?
yes,
Trying to like
very
produce
much so.
content, and I think I underestimated that when I started in terms of just the time commitment it can, and for platforms like Instagram in terms of just
Yeah.
staying up, and whatnot. Like when I went on maternity leave, I was like, oh, I'll keep posting, and I was like, yeah, no, I can't because my
Right.
child's not sleeping, but you stop posting for a little bit, and then you gotta almost not start all over, but it does take a bit to like rev up every time you take a break. So
right. And also my demographic is a lot larger than yours as well.
yeah,
You're more niche than I am.
It could be, but it just depends. I mean, it is what it is. You still will see people with hundreds of thousand followers, and you're always like, man, how did that happen? But I think it's important to realize that for most people, not all, that's a process over time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A few people go viral overnight, but most people, it takes a little bit. It takes years of consistency.
Oh yeah.
And you don't see all of that. It's just you look at their page and you're like, oh, they have 1 million followers, but you don't see maybe the 6 years that it took to get the 1 million followers. So,
and it's also not about followers as well, as long as you're producing content that is entertaining in whatever way, that's whatever fits your demographic. That's one thing that I got into, and I really don't look at my followers like I used to. Like I used to wake up every day and say, oh, I got 3 new followers. Oh, I got 6 new followers. Now I'm just like, as long as I'm putting out content that people are enjoying, then I'm doing my job. So I guess that's my thing now.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I had to realize too. It's more about just putting out quality content for those people who follow you so that you can add benefit and value, to their lives. And so that's what hopefully I'm doing here with the fasting tips or the fasting science, and really trying to give people an idea that, don't feel like you're strange if you're trying intermittent fasting. Don't feel like it's a fad. There's actually good science behind it, and it actually works. Speaking of, how's your fasting going, Qualin?
It's been easier since everything's going on. See, so my thing is, and I've explained this to you before, the hours that I work is so hard. And I was doing great when you just told me start doing just like 1 meal a day, things like that. It started really working, but I'm around food all the time, being a server, and I'd go in at 10:30 to open. I would get off at 7 or 8. And my 1 meal might be breakfast, but I'm still on my feet, walking around, carrying trays, picking up stuff. I'm still burning energy, and I get home and I'm like, I want a burger. So it's just a little bit harder, but I'm actually going to make a post about this later. When I first started, when all this stuff first started, I like open up my refrigerator. I'm like, oh, I don't have groceries right now.
Right.
Well, looks like I'm fasting today.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, since all this is going on, I have my window where I eat. I probably won't eat until around 1 or 2.
Oh, that works.
And then eat until like 8, and then be good. Be good.
Shut it down, and then the next day start over. Yeah.
Last week I kind of fell off the wagon because it was my birthday, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna enjoy my time. But
of course,
and
I would say that's what fasting's about. Like you feast and you fast. So yeah, we don't want you not to enjoy your birthday week. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that. It only comes around once a year. So
Yeah, Corona kills it this year. So
well, yeah, this year is interesting. I think we're still going to be on lockdown, shelter in place when my birthday rolls around. So I think I'm going to do a virtual Zoom birthday party. Is what I've decided.
am I invited? Because I wasn't invited to your dad's.
Yes, I'll invite you. I was going to be girls only because I was going to make the guys watch the kids, but you can come.
Don't worry. I asked your brother. I'm like, dang, I'm family. Why wasn't I invited?
He actually enjoyed his virtual Zoom, his virtual Zoom party, but it was so funny.
Yeah.
Well, but it was so funny because like when we did ours, like Mike had a Zoom happy hour and I had a Zoom happy hour, and like we were on for like 3 or 4 hours, you know,
Yeah.
like we were on a long time. So for my dad's birthday party, after 30 minutes, he was like, all right, well, thanks everybody for joining. We were like, okay.
Yeah, I had to bounce.
It's like, yeah, that was so great. I'm like, the best 30 minutes of your life. Like, it was very short. But
It's funny to see people using Zoom now, even though it's been around for years.
True.
But how people are using it now to like connect with friends, family who they may not have talked to before, and things like that. It's cool, but I just look at it like, you guys know that this has been around for years, and you could have been doing this before all of this going on. It's not like you're doing it to hang out with people who you hung out with every day. I'm seeing like old college friends like using it in different states. I'm like, you guys could have been doing this the whole time. Like,
no, you make a good point, because the people that were on our happy hour were people, you know, that we used to hang out with back in the day versus a combination of people that we hang out with now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. You know what, though? I think because I know, at least for me, if I can be outdoors, I think that's just where I would rather be, you know? Like, I like being outside. Now, granted, we go in our backyard right now and stuff like that, but it's still, you know, after a while, like if you have nowhere else to go, like even not, I mean, then you start looking around for more creative ways. I've been able to do more IG lives in these last couple weeks than I have, you know, because usually we're either at the kids' baseball game or this or that or yada yada, and we enjoy those things, but there's not, I don't know, this is the most time that I've actually been inside, which is why I think that allows me, at least personally, to use Zoom and do some more things.
Yeah, you have more time to do it now.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
for sure. I get that.
But I know people in terms of you know, with all the COVID stuff going on, it definitely is crazy. I did a IG live yesterday with ketogenic girl. She's like really big in the keto space. She has her own podcast and she lives in Prague. And she was just telling me the contrast between like how the US is shut down and how Prague is shut down. Like some countries really shut down early, like nationwide mandates. It was they really defined what they called essential businesses, non-essential, and they have like a fraction of the cases that we do. They follow more like a South Korean protocol for shutdown, and we're contrasting ours. And even though a lot of things have been shut down, we're still very open compared to other countries that have shut down, and our numbers show that, unfortunately. I think I looked, we have like 300,000 cases now. We have like leaps and bounds. New York has as many cases as all of Italy.
I've heard that there's now getting nurses and sending nurses to New York, and they're making like $100 an hour or something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're sending people like that. Yeah, they're calling out stuff for nurses if you're willing to go. Our region in Kansas just sent like over 300 healthcare professionals down to sister hospitals in New Orleans through the HCA health system to like volunteer down there. So it's kind of like you're seeing these slow waves, and I know it's disrupting people's lives, obviously like yours and things like that with stuff being closed. So I think people believe we're just like, oh, shut down and it's easy. And it's like, no. Nobody's saying that it's easy for like people's jobs and stuff to close. But when you see the countries that actually did it early and preemptively versus ones like us that don't, that didn't, it's crazy. The numbers are insane. I was reading something too that they think they may be underreporting the death rate, but we won't go into conspiracy theories. It says especially out of Florida, some places where it's old, it's an older population. They're not necessarily maybe attributing all the deaths, so it could be higher than what we're even seeing. But
so my question for you is, how much can you teach me? How quick can you teach me to be a nurse? So I can go make $100 an hour real quick.
I know, right? I don't know. It's crazy. But some of it, there's trade-offs and pluses and minuses with that too. Like hopefully the people who are going are healthy at baseline, you know what I mean? Because you're putting yourself, granted, it is a lot of money, and I'm not saying it's not a lot of money, but you're also like putting yourself like right at the and like
putting yourself at ground zero.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Because and New York is just being overwhelmed right now. And like I said, New Orleans is like pretty much not far off from them. We're just gonna see. I saw Missouri finally just put their shelter in place orders in. But their cases had already started skyrocketing. So we'll see.
Now you're not having to deal with any of those cases or anything, right?
Well, it's starting to pick up everywhere. So in our region, we're in Kansas City, so there's several major hospital systems around. One of the main academic centers right now, that's where most of the pregnant COVID patients are at. So ours hasn't gotten hit yet, but our surge is expected to happen in about 3 weeks or so. So pretty soon. We've already went into protocols in our office where we wear masks every day. We've been doing that. I joke with one of my other colleagues. We have like a area in the hospital that has like all the personal protective equipment, and you sign it out every day, but they have to do that because if not, people would steal it. It would walk away.
Oh yeah.
And so I always visit I call it the PPE depot, and I always visit every day, and I'm like, what you got new today? What's new that I can wear? So like on Thursday, they had these goggles you could wear that fit over your glasses. So I had like my goggles.
I think I saw a picture. Yeah.
And then I had my hair up in my MSU scrub cap. I was ready. I was like, my goal is to secure a spacesuit by the time this is all over.
Go on and do it. Can you get two? Can you send me one? I just want to walk around in one.
If they let me have one at the PPE depot, I'll have it on. But yeah, we're literally though, basically we have to treat everyone as if they have it, because some people show absolutely no symptoms, and some are floridly ill, and then there's a mix in between where, well, is that cough COVID or is that cough your seasonal allergies?
Right.
Is that, so it's one of those things where just at baseline we act as if everyone has it, and we have our gear on, and we just go from there. Yeah. So it's interesting though. And I always get, people ask like, what can you do to stay healthy during this time? Or what can you do just to increase your chances? And really it is staying at home and just really keeping away from other people, because it's so contagious.
I have a question. Not to cut you off.
Go
I have a question. And this is just me asking. I'm not saying that this is the right thing or not, but you're a doctor, so this is me asking. Do you think people staying at home is going to make the outbreak worse because our immune system isn't built up to it like it should be when everyone's allowed to be out again?
No, because the issue is we've never seen it before. So at baseline, we have no immunity.
Okay. But
So
you don't think like being out and getting exposed to it maybe a little bit would help our immune system build up an immunity?
no, I mean, so I guess if you are the one who survives it, right? But that what we're trying to do is slow the death rate and how many people all at once. So like if we were all out right now, like even the bootleg shelter in places that we've been doing piecemeal rather than like a real one, um, you the you I mean, it'd be catastrophic. It'd be like what's a movie where there's like doomsday apocalypse? Like you name that. That's what it would look like right now.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. It's like if we all get it at once, I get what you're saying because like back in the day, people used to have like chicken pox parties, and we were like just
Right.
get it.
Everyone getting chicken pox.
But like kids didn't really die from chicken pox. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing. So it's like the problem with this is that it's so deadly. And even though people are like, oh, only this many people died, but that's, again, we're preventing the exposure to people who are really vulnerable to die.
Gotcha.
And so it's basically like having all of those people who are potentially susceptible to dying getting infected at once.
Gotcha.
And so then you flood everything. And then you forget people have just regular reasons to go to the hospital, like heart attacks and stroke. But if your healthcare system is overrun with all these people with COVID on vents, then you start having just more death in general because there's not enough resources to care for just the things that people usually go to the hospital for.
Gotcha.
So you basically, so that's the problem. And so, yeah, your buddy Chris asked, but once everyone goes back, won't it spike? So that's a concern.
That was going to be my next question.
That's a concern until we get a vaccine. Now, I will say that I think we're going to have to stop being, I mean, it's not us, it's someone in particular, is going to have to stop being so arrogant and looking at other countries and actually see what's working in other countries and implement it here, because China has reopened limited amounts. Like their businesses, their restaurants and things like that are starting to reopen in a controlled fashion. And they are not seeing like a huge spike again. But that's because they really shut it down. That's the whole thing. We don't know. Some people have predicted that this is going to be like a seasonal thing, like the seasonal flu, where, you have COVID time, where, we have flu season and we've all kind of just learn to accept that, but that's because we've been dealing with this strain of the strains of the flu over time, and they have a vaccine and all of that stuff. So I think what we're going to see is probably periods until we get a vaccine of it kind of waxing and waning. But I mean, I still think that's better than the alternative of just saying everyone at once, let's catch together and see what happens with the death rate of 1% of like 50 million people getting it at once.
Now, what if this everyone getting at once? What if it was like a really big party with like musical artists and it was like so much fun?
Does my face give you the answer?
Come on, like Jay-Z's there, Beyonce. They just put on the biggest concert ever, and whoever survives, survives.
No, I mean that's what it's like now. I mean we're not quite that bad, but that's the problem. Hold on, let me see. Someone else asked a question. Brianna and Hutchinson said, "What about being outside, having an outside gathering with a few people?" That would still be no. So we have a few stories we can point to. For instance, the family gathering that happened in New Jersey, where it was just like a few family members, but they don't live together, right? So when we say you should only be interacting with people in person, people who you live with on a daily basis, right? But you then saying, well, let me invite my mom and dad over and my cousin and maybe like 2 other family members that you don't live with. So case in point, there was a family gathering that was held in New Jersey, and it was maybe like 10 family members, maybe 12. Like, so it wasn't like a huge gathering, right? Because initially there were some states saying gatherings 10 or less were fine, you know, making up numbers basically. Someone who went to the family gathering had coronavirus, infected pretty much everybody at the party. 4 family members who attended that party died.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So, I mean, yes, that stuff is happening. There was a choir thing where I don't know who thought this was a good idea. But again, that's because they're following these bootleg guidelines that are put out that aren't on, like, stay 6 feet apart. Like, what? Okay. But people went and did a choir rehearsal, and they all were spread out among the room, and it may have been like 20 people or so. Can't remember how many caught COVID, but 2 of them died. So think about you knowing 2 people who died, like, out of a gathering you had with 10 people. That's huge. Yeah. That's huge. Yeah. You know, so, I mean, you start putting that together, you know what I mean? So that's what it is. It says, Lester Cat, didn't South Korea do something right? And now people are almost back to normal. Yes, exactly. No, I agree. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, we think we're inconvenienced right now with our shelter in place. You should really look at how some of the other countries did it properly. And it was painful, and people, you know, lost their job. And I'm not saying it, you know, so it was painful, but now they're getting back to normal. You know, they shut down for real, hardcore 6 to 8 weeks, and now they're rolled out with more normal than what we have. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. It's just the longer we drag our feet, it's just the longer we're gonna have to deal with this.
Yeah, I just don't think that our economy is built for something like this, or not so much the economy, the people in charge. They don't want to help like they should. Like, I know in Canada, because I spoke to some servers in Canada, I think they're getting like $2,000 a month. Yeah. From all this, you know? Yeah. And we're going to get $1,200
in like 22 weeks or something.
for this whole thing.
Take, like, it's going to be a while before people see those checks too, is what my understanding was.
P.S. Can I borrow one of your kids so I get an extra $500 real quick?
Oh, do you give? Which one?
Let me get MJ.
Okay. We'll split them for $250.
Cool. I'll take it. Look, I'm not working. I'll take anything right now. Sounds good. I like the negotiation.
No, but that's my fear about us not shutting down appropriately now. Do you know what I mean? Because then we're going to have to drag this out. So then what I really envision is, because I know people said through April 30th. So I really feel like April 30th is going to come and people are going to be like, well, we really didn't do a good job about sheltering in place. So it's May 30th. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, for real, now we're actually going to just have hospitals and grocery stores open. Because, like, your dry cleaners right now is considered an essential business. Golf courses are also considered
I have friends that went golfing yesterday.
I mean, that's bull. That's bull, right? Yeah. So that's my point. Like, so you are affecting people's jobs like yours, but people can still go golf. And so my issue is that what's going to happen is, because it's going to take us another 6 to 8 weeks to finally do a proper countrywide shutdown. Yeah. And then we're going to see results 6 to 8 weeks from that, where the people who have been complying all along are like shut down for like 3 months. Right. You know what I mean? I think that's the issue, because we're not doing a real true shutdown. I mean, I think we're slowing things. It could be worse. You look at states like Ohio, who did it early on, and for real, like your state, and their numbers are very impressive. You know what I'm saying? And someone was just saying 8 states still don't have a shelter in place order. Agreed. So it's like, you know, I was like really annoyed with Missouri, because I live in Kansas. We border Missouri, and they didn't have, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have a shelter in place order. So I reposted that meme going around that's like having some states shelter in place and others not. It's like having a peeing section in a swimming pool.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, well, the P will slowly get to you,
Right.
but it's still going to get to you.
It's all right, though. I mean, we're going to get through this all. Yeah, it's going to take a while, but I think the one thing that's going to benefit from all this is you're going to see, especially in the server world, you're going to see people better with money, because a lot of people are hurting because, I mean, not to say every server is horrible with money, but there's a lot out there who, they might not save for times like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, really hurt the community because it's something that no one
prepares
or anything like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's going to be a positive. We're going to see more people starting to save better because of situations like this. They know what they're going through. So there's going to be positive that are going to come out of it all this is over with and everything like that. I truly feel like once everyone's allowed to get back, and people are going to be friendlier with other people, because I think a lot of negativity is going away with this as well. And like, you're starting to see people come together, kind of like 9/11. Like, you saw America really band together and we love each other as brothers and everything like that. Just like my virtual tip jar that I created yesterday, we've already had over $2,000 like donated.
Where do we find that at? You told me about it. Is that on your page? I haven't seen it.
It's in my link. It's in the link in my bio. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But I mean, it's all over all my social medias. But I mean, just to see, like, I didn't expect that at all. But just see like over $2,000 donated, and I don't know the exact number. I just know what people are telling me, what they are making, and what people are donating to them. It's awesome. So I think that, like, we're gonna see that we're gonna come together more as a nation here soon, and everything's gonna be better in different senses than what it was before.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a new normal. I think we have to readjust our expectations as to what normal is going to look like, because it's definitely going to be a new normal after this. I mean, we've never seen a pandemic before. I'm sure, like, when they had the Spanish flu of 1918, when that happened, what their new normal was like. Interesting nerdy fact about the Spanish flu of 1918, because I'm a big nerd. So the Spanish flu of 1918, it actually got its name as a misnomer. So what the U.S. press did in that time, so media is very interesting, has always, had a huge influence in how we see things. But the media didn't want the U.S. troops and the families here that were in the States to be worried about this new flu. So they only released and published data from all the people who were dying in Spain from the flu. Meanwhile, it was actively circulating in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And so we were very slow to shut down. History repeats itself. We're very slow to shut down. We didn't mobilize. We didn't do the quarantining like we should. Gotcha. And that's how it got the name the Spanish flu. Played all over again, We started this. Oh, this is the Wuhan virus. It's the Chinese virus. It's over there. All the meanwhile, this virus, because of international travel, has probably been in the United States since early mid-January, slowly circulating around. I bet we'll go back and do post-autopsy studies and find that people have been dying from COVID here for a while. But we just weren't tracking it. We didn't know. And then, look, we were slow to quarantine, slow to shut down. And now a country that has 1 billion people only has 80,000 cases. And you can make the argument, are they releasing all of the numbers? But the bottom line is, China has 1 billion people. We do not have 1 billion people. And we have almost 2 to 3 times the amount of cases that China does now.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where it's interesting how history repeats itself. But I'm sure after that initial pandemic was done in 1918, I'm sure it took a couple, probably, but wouldn't you think like at least 2 or 3 years for stuff to get back to normal?
Oh,
I'm sure.
Yeah. It's gonna be a while. Like, I've been telling like all my followers and stuff that first couple months that people are allowed out, restaurants might be a little bit slower, but eventually people are going to come out. We're going to be making so much money because people are going to be sick of cooking and everything. Even within like that first month, it might not be because people are so sick of being inside and going out and stuff like that. But to get back to a normal thing where people aren't scared to go out and scared of this virus, it's going to be a while. But you also can look at, and this is my media background coming into it, the media can really squash stuff quick. So as soon as this pandemic starts normalizing and it starts going away, something else can come up and we can forget about it just like that.
That's true.
Honestly, think about it.
That's true.
When's the last time someone talked about World War III that was supposed to be happening? When's the last time someone talked about Kobe dying? You know, like all this has, it's sad, but all this has completely washed everything out that was like going on before.
Right.
So once something else comes up, this pandemic starts leveling out, something else is going to come up in the media and it's going to be gone just like that. You know, we didn't think about swine flu and what's now and everything until all this just started coming around, you know, so.
Right. No, and I'm just scrolling through back some of the comments. People were saying that normal first means flattening the curve, and that's true. And let's just explain the curve real quick, because I think people have this false assumption that's why I say the April 30th deadline in my mind is like not realistic, and I'm sure people will find that out soon. But if we just think of a curve, right, just like that, so before things actually start to go down, you got to stop climbing and you have to flatten it, right? So our trajectory is still up. We haven't really flattened anything. Some states have individually, like I said, kudos to Ohio. But you know, your curve looks a lot better than most, but like you'll see, I think New York's is still like going up a bit.
Right.
And so that's the thing, we do got to flatten. And then just when you flatten, doesn't mean that you're seeing a slow in the death rate. It just means you're going to see it stabilize.
Right.
And then what we eventually will hopefully start seeing is that death slows and that new infection slow. And then it goes down into a fashion. And then how we go about controlling that, you know, again, I just hope we look at countries like South Korea and China and really put into place some of their measures to see what they're doing successful. Someone said discuss mask. So the CDC just came out with a new recommendation to wear, you know, like bandanas or whatever, put cloth over your face when you go out. They're not saying mask per se because they don't want people buying up the mask and then they're not available for healthcare professionals, which is very interesting how we're starting to do that now, but other countries have been repurposing their factory purposes to produce what we need in shortage, because you do see, again, the Chinese populations and the South Korea populations, people step out in public and they do have on a mask.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's very interesting. But the bottom line is we have to get more serious about covering our faces, even having something to block your face. A lot of it is because we touch our face so much. So what the bandana is supposed to do, what's that?
Oh, no, I was covering my face. That was the only thing I can
the bandana helps you to prevent yourself from touching your face.
Yeah.
And so that's what some of the benefit of it is.
I think I touch my face more now because I'm more conscious of it. I'm like, oh shit, stop touching your face.
Yeah.
Stop. Stop.
Yeah.
Like, I know I touch my face more now than I did before, and I'm trying to stop, but.
Yeah, no, it's hard, right? We touch our face. I touch my face too. That's why I'm glad for my mask, and that's why I put my goggles on at the hospital and my hair gear and all that, because it really makes me conscious about it. And then as Donna Holla is pointing out too, say I have COVID, I'm an asymptomatic carrier, right? I haven't been tested, so I wouldn't know, right? I mean, that's what some of the other countries are doing, are mass population testing. and then making the asymptomatic carrier stay home. Because this stuff about just stay home if you don't feel well, what happens if you don't feel well? You would never know, right? Because everyone doesn't show symptoms. But she's right, the mask also help protect the patients I come into contact with. Because if I do have it and I don't know, then I'm not talking on you and all of that stuff too.
Exactly.
So, it helps both.
I got a question.
Uh-huh.
I know I saw you post this the other day. Does alcohol really help kill the germs?
So I had to go back and edit my post because I was like, oh my gosh. Because then someone took it there. The sad thing, the person who took it there was my cousin, right?
Oh, gosh.
It was my cousin.
Oh, gosh.
People. And she was like, well, what happens if we don't drink? That's not what I meant. So Everclear, and like I said, I haven't evaluated, but the proof in Everclear, in theory, right, would have like the alcohol concentration needed. But really, rubbing alcohol. So if you can make your own hand sanitizer, and that's what people were doing with Everclear, is they were mixing it with aloe vera gel, and then that's like your hand sanitizer because that's running thin. We've actually made our own hand sanitizers, but we didn't use Everclear. We used just regular rubbing alcohol.
So I can't just drink Everclear and be good.
You can't drink Everclear and be good.
But are you sure?
I mean, this is the thing. Everclear can do other things to your liver. I have been telling people, if you have so things that can weaken the immune system. Let's see, you have drink in your hand. Me?
It's water.
Oh, good.
It's water.
Oh, good. I'm glad. So,
I have alcohol right here, but I'm drinking water today.
Good, water. So I would say if you have any habits, so like if you're a smoker, obviously this is a stressful time, but if you smoke a lot, I would decrease that. If you drink a lot, I would decrease that because, So I'm not saying you can't drink at all, but if you drink a lot and only you have to look within and determine.
I don't drink as much as people think I do.
Not you, I'm saying.
No, I know. But no, I've had followers like, oh my gosh, you drink so much. I'm like, no, I don't.
No, you produce advertisements. I mean, so some of the stuff you sell, right? But it's not like you're drinking 9 to 5. But when you make an advertisement, you got to advertise.
Right.
Come on, people. This is advertising 101. So yes, no, you don't drink all the time. But I'm saying for people who might drink a lot, smoke a lot, these are things that weaken your immune system. And so you want to be in the best position to fight this off, especially stuff that has to do with your lungs. I mean, one of the reasons COVID is so deadly is because it attacks the lungs like nobody's business. So if you already have, poor lung structure, that's why we're seeing, some of these risk factors. Now, that's not to say that people who otherwise are healthy, and I put air quotes because we don't know, maybe they did have an underlying condition. We don't necessarily know, but seemingly young people who are healthy, we are starting to see reports of 30-year-olds dying from it and things of that, nature. It's not just old people or the person who has diseases. So I think just putting your immune system in the best place it can be by decreasing some of the toxins that you put into your body right now would be a good idea. For people who are fasting, if you are someone who's doing extended fast, I wouldn't do extended fast right now because fasting over 48 hours can be a stressor on the body, while under 48 hours, under 36 hours, those have general anti-inflammatory benefits, things like that. And that's not to say that extended fasting doesn't have anti-inflammatory benefits, but again, we're not trying to overly stress our bodies. We're trying to maximize just keeping it healthy and things. So intermittent fasting, really good right now, but I wouldn't do extended fasting right now.
Got you. So, well, I have groceries now, so I'll just stick to intermittent fasting.
Yeah, that's perfect. Honestly, I
have groceries, so I'm good.
That's what we're doing. We're intermittent fasting too, and just again, not trying to. I see some people like, might as well drink today, drinking daily, and it's like, maybe don't do that. Oh,
it's backwards.
It's backwards, but it's saying drunk
Yeah,
something.
well, I'm drunk again. This was one of my signs I just posted the other day for my server with the sign.
Yes.
Said day 17, well, I'm drunk again.
I know, but it's just one of those things. And again,
Just having fun.
Tell people,
we even though this is a pandemic, we still have to have fun. We still have to like not stress ourselves out over it because it's just gonna make it worse, you know. So that's honestly like the content I've been trying to produce. It's just about
lighthearted,
still being lighthearted, still like not stressing out over it, even though it is a serious thing. You still have to be like yourself, you know. You still have to be calm, you still have to smile. You still have to, you know, live your life a little bit, not like you would normally. What?
I said, but sheltered in place. Live your life.
Yeah, sheltered in place. But you know, it's, I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun with everything. I made a meme today that I don't think a lot of people liked. You know, the tombstone meme.
I saw that. I saw that. I was like,
but and the thing is,
you've reached Michael Che status. Michael Che, you know, when he does the weekend update, sometimes you're rolling with him, and other times you're like, Michael Che, you're about to get protest hashtag on Twitter.
Oh, I'm about to get protest for sure. But like, I kind of have a dark sense of humor as it is. I like hide it a lot, but I'm sitting there like laying in my bed this morning. I'm like, I don't think anyone has made this meme yet. Why not? And I got it. And people are like, oh my gosh, I don't like that. And I'm like, I'm sorry. It's funny to me. Like, I still got like over 1,000 likes on it and stuff. And
I need you and Michael Che to do a weekend update virtually. How can we hook you up with Michael Che? Like I know him. I don't know him.
I walked past him in a bar. Me and your brother both.
Really?
In Cleveland, yeah.
And you didn't say Michael Che.
I was
funny
occupied. But I kind of looked up from who I was occupied with, and I'm like, oh, that's Michael Che. Because one of the girls used to live, or she was from Cleveland. One of the girls that was in the cast, she was from Cleveland. I can't remember which one. I can't remember which one it was. But Michael Che, her, and someone else was there. And I'm just like, oh, that was Michael Che.
But see, you can do that in the Midwest. That's why I like the Midwest. You can just be famous and go to a bar in the Midwest, and you can just go. Oh, yeah, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he also had like his hat on. This is before he like kind of took off. I think it was like his first year weekend update. So it was a few years ago.
Yeah, their first year sucks. Him and Colin Jost on that first year, it was painful. And now he got into a groove. And like I said, some things, like the sad thing is all the jokes that he tells that I know he's about to get like murdered on Twitter for, I still laugh at. As I'm laughing, I'm like, oh, he's
because they're jokes. They're funny. People take stuff so serious. It's like, okay, guys, like I made the meme. Yes, like literally, if you think about it, coronavirus has killed restaurants and bars right now, but it's still funny. Like, I don't know.
It is. Well, you know, and Living Color could never survive in today's world. But that was one of the best shows ever, and I still laugh at that.
I was watching Rush Hour today, and I'm like, this movie would not be able to be made.
Even Rush Hours?
All the Asian references and stuff that Chris Tucker was making in the beginning. And stuff, and then how... and then Jackie Chan, the stuff that he was saying, like back, it would never been made at this time. There's a lot of sensitive people.
I actually think I might see once the kids go to bed tonight if Mike
wants to. Oh, it's so good. It was on Comedy Central. And even with like stuff getting cut out, it was still such a great movie.
Oh, the movie's hilarious. Jackie Chan, hilarious. Chris Tucker. You can do that in China. You get your ass killed here, boy. Don't touch a black man's radio.
Yep.
However it went.
Yeah.
So.
Such a good
movie. Hey, I'm going to get off and go check on these kiddos because I think I've left Mike alone with them long enough. You know. We have to rotate. Now, when you're sheltered in place with 3 kids, you do have to be on a rotation so that one parent isn't like, what's going on?
I I agree with that. That's how my mom was with my nieces. And she was like, you got to get these kids out of here. I can't deal with them anymore.
I can't tell you how many times I've told them to play outside today, every day.
I'm so sad. I'm probably not going to be able to come there now because of all this.
You said what?
I'm probably not going to be able to make it. Remember I told you that I was planning a trip to Kansas City?
Yeah, you were. When were you supposed to go?
July.
Yeah, you know, Mike's 40th birthday is in August, and they were supposed to go on a trip. I was like, yeah, he hasn't canceled it yet because I think that you'll still be able to get refunds fairly easily. But yeah, I'm like, you're probably not having
I was supposed to come the week after 4th of July because the Red Sox are playing the Royals. And my friend was going to get tickets.
Red Sox probably a win.
Oh, for sure they would. For sure.
Royals aren't good.
No, they're garbage.
They're trash.
But I'm not going to be able to come now.
That's okay. We will meet again. I do think a lot of people, we'll meet again. It's just... right now, it's a little inconvenient, but
for sure.
Because I think we were supposed to go to Michigan this summer too, and I doubt we're going. And we're supposed to go to New Orleans in October. I doubt we're going.
Yeah.
I mean, I really think travel for the rest of this year is going to be pretty much canceled.
Well, whenever this stuff starts dying down, I'm gonna hop on and get a ticket because I know ticket sales will still be cheap.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of people still afraid to fly, so I think there will be a lot of good deals. So yeah, sorry, Chris. Chris is like Chris. Every time I get a question from him, he's like, "So sports are going to start again by May, right?" I'm like,
"Yeah." I mean, his job, you know.
I know. Well, he just said, "Well, y'all hiring."
I'm gonna have to start.
I need a live-in nanny, Chris.
Why don't you offer me?
Okay, I mean, you guys can tandem. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
I don't know. I don't think your house will survive with me and Chris in it together for 2 weeks. He said, "I'm out." I'm about to start a website for him soon.
It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Don't worry about it. Don't let it stress. Like you said, we can't, I mean, at this point, it is, we're in a pandemic. There are no rules. Yeah. And I think the more flexible we can be and the more upbeat content we have from people like you, minus your tombstone meme, it's going to really help.
Hey, I'm still gonna produce what I do, you know. Still gonna do
I laugh. I mean, it's like
a lot of people did, but there's some people. One girl was like, "Hi, sir, I don't like this," and my response was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you don't."
Yeah, like, people are real bold on social media because sometimes I'll have people who are like, "I don't agree with what you're posting." I'm like, okay,
thanks. Post it, right?
So,
all right. I'll let you go get your kids.
All right, everyone.
Good talking to you.
Safe. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Bye.